In today's video, I'll show you the 10 most unusual items in my model train collection. I've already made plenty of videos about the normal stuff I've collected. This one's going to focus on the weird items. Everything from a wiener train to a car that makes bubbles and a steam train that puffs out realistic smoke. If you like model trains, pull up a chair and get comfortable. This is a video about some very unusual products that I think you're really going to enjoy. I've got a pretty big collection of G-scale model train stuff. Everything from realistic locomotives and rolling stock based on real trains to all the track and switches it takes to make my big layouts. But I do also have some unusual items in my collection, and I thought it would be fun to focus on those in today's video. This bubble-making gondola car is the first of 10 items I'm going to share with you today. I think there was only one video of mine where I showed the bubble car. This was back in 2019. We were fostering a litter of puppies for our local humane society. And the thing about puppies is that you have to keep them busy because if they're just sitting around with nothing to do, that's when they start causing trouble. So I set up a small model train layout, hoping that I could get the puppies to chase the train around while I sat comfortably in a chair somewhere, taking it easy. One of the things I tried to get them to follow the train around was to put some puppy food in a gondola car, and that worked until they all climbed in it and derailed it. I bought this bubble-making car on eBay, and other than this one day with the puppies, it's never really had much use. The next unusual item I want to share with you is a very special car that's part of my Coca Cola train. Again, I have eBay to thank for this. I found the Coca Cola steam train and tender on eBay back in 2018 and started looking for Coca Cola themed rolling stock to go with it. These are all LGB brand items that were no longer in production, so eBay was a great place to find various box cars and the tanker car and even the Coca Cola themed caboose. But this one box car is unusual because inside it's got some electronics and a speaker that it uses to play a little Coca-Cola jingle, which unfortunately I cannot play for you. The jingle is copyrighted. And I didn't know that when I first got this car. I made a video including the jingle, and it wasn't long before somebody filed a copyright claim against me. So I won't make that mistake again. You'll just have to trust me, this musical boxcar that plays the Coca-Cola jingle is very cool, and I think it would be great free publicity for Coca-Cola if I could play the jingle, but instead they think protecting their copyright is more important. Okay, on to the next thing. Seeing my name on the side of a train car is cool, and seeing it on the side of 4 train cars is even more cool. Thanks to my wife for this. She whipped up some Jim Zim stickers for me in her craft room using her Cricut machine. It was easy for me to apply those stickers to the rail cars, and voila! I took some very plain and boring passenger cars and transformed them. And here's the funny thought that struck me. You know, the American president, Donald Trump, he loves to slap his name on everything, right? Well, I don't think even he has his name on a series of railroad cars. So how about that? I trumped Trump. This is a very unusual LGB brand locomotive that I'm very fortunate to have in my collection. It features realistic chuffing sounds that are synchronized with the puffing smoke that comes out of the smokestack. This is a truly rare and valuable locomotive. Only 399 of these were ever produced. This certificate shows that mine was the 286th of the 399 that they made. I'd love this locomotive even if they had made 1,000,000 of these. The puffs of smoke coming out of the smokestack and the chuffing sounds that are synchronized with the smoke release, that's just so cool. The fact that they made so few of these and that my friends at trainworld.com were able to get one for me, well, that just puts this locomotive in a league of its own for me. This would be about the last thing in my model train collection that I would ever sell. You might thank me later for showing you this item. That car being pulled by the locomotive is a track cleaning car, a very handy thing to have to keep your train tracks clean. I used to always clean my tracks by buying a 3M abrasive pad at the hardware store, wrapping it around a scrap piece of 2x4, and then scrubbing the track off while applying downward pressure. But this little track cleaning car does the work for me. The key to the brilliant way this was designed is a very heavy weight that's built into it. That keeps downward pressure on the abrasive pad as it runs along the track. I was a little skeptical about how well this thing would work until I actually held one in my hand and saw how heavy that weight is. That puts a lot of pressure down on the abrasive pad. That's the secret to why this thing works as well as it does. Another smart thing about the design is that when the abrasive pad gets full of gunk, don't throw it away, just remove it, flip it over, and reinstall the pad. By using the back side of the abrasive pad after the front side is worn out, you're effectively doubling how long you can go before needing to buy a new pad. If you're interested in getting one of these track cleaning cars, you can order one at www.gardenrrsolutions.com. Now, when you eventually need some new pads for the track cleaning car, you could just go to the hardware store, but they'll be too big. You would have to cut them down to size. You can avoid that hassle by just buying some extra pads at the time you order the track cleaning car. That way, the pads will be just the right size. This next item I don't think I've ever featured in one of my videos. It's not a G-scale model train. It's actually a little keychain featuring the Santa Fe Super Chief. If you pull on this part here and then let go, that makes the Super Chief do a couple of laps around the track. This was something Lionel made. I don't know if they gave these away as a promotional thing or sold these as an actual product. I got mine as a gift from a fan, actually, and I sure do appreciate it. It was a really great little gift. This is an unusual item in my model train collection because it's one of the few battery-operated locomotives I've got. Most of my locomotives get power from the metal rails of the tracks, but this Santa Fe locomotive, manufactured by Piko, runs on 6 AAA batteries that are here inside the engine compartment. Now, I use rechargeable AAAs rather than conventional AAA batteries to save money in the long run, and also to do the right thing for the environment. I'm going to power this thing on by flipping it over, finding the power switch underneath it, and when I turn this on, you'll hear it start to fire up. Another really cool thing about this battery-powered locomotive is that it comes with a little remote control to operate it. From the remote control, you can trigger some of the built-in sound effects that this locomotive has. Like, there's a bell, and there's a horn. Now, if I give it a little gas, you'll hear the engine rev up a little more. And once we get it revved up enough, the train starts going. There's reverse also. If you're interested in buying one of these, go to trainworld.com and do a search for Piko 38509. As you've seen already, not every unusual item I'm showing you today is an actual train. This next one is what's known as a bellows train whistle. This was another great find on eBay. In the summer, when I tend to be working in my garden a lot, if my wife needs me to come inside and get cleaned up for lunch, rather than yelling for me, she just points the whistle out the door and toots it. That gets my attention no matter what part of the yard I'm working in. Also, if I see the neighbor kids out playing in front of their house, I sometimes use the train whistle to give them a friendly salute. Whenever I show people this next item, it always gets them smiling. This is the Oscar Mayer wiener train. And this is totally a fantasy item. There is no actual full-sized Oscar Mayer wiener train in real life. There is an automobile known as the Wienermobile, but no train. This G-scale wiener train is also not something that any of the major model train companies manufactured. It's another eBay item, custom made in some guy's garage workshop, I suspect. You see, back in the 1980s and 1990s, several different toy companies made toy versions of the Wienermobile. And at some point, somebody got the bright idea to remove the wheels and replace them with an electric motor and actual G-scale train wheels. Now, this is by far the slowest moving train in my collection, but you have to admit it has a goofy charm that's hard to resist, don't you think? And finally, I've saved this one for last. It's the smallest G-scale train in my collection. Fans of Thomas and Friends instantly recognize him as Winston, the track inspection car, and the fellow driving is Sir Topham Hatt, also known as the Fat Controller, the controller of the Northwestern Railway on the island of Sodor. This was a product made by Bachmann trains, but they don't make them anymore, and they're all sold out at all the train retailers that I checked. I think they used to sell for about $150. Well, now that these are a collector's item, who wants to start the bidding on mine? Do I hear $400? No, I'm joking. I meant $500. No, I'm joking again. Well, there you have it. A look at the 10 most unusual items in my model train collection. The bubble-making car, the musical Coca Cola boxcar, Jim Zim passenger cars, a limited edition LGB steam locomotive with realistic smoke from the smokestack, a track cleaning car, a keychain featuring the Santa Fe Super Chief, a battery-operated locomotive you operate from a remote control that comes with it, a bellows-style train whistle, the Oscar Mayer wiener train, and the smallest thing that ever runs on my layouts, Winston, the track inspection car. Please take the time to leave me a comment and let me know which one was your favorite. And if you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up button. That lets YouTube know that it's a good video that they should recommend to other people. I'm Jim Zim. Thanks for watching.